Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to go over step by step on how to set up your chart on Ninjatrader for day trading futures. Essentially a similar chart like this. So here are the things that we are going to cover. Number one, I'm going to show you how to create a new chart and how to choose your instrument. Number two, we're going to go over the chart settings and the preferences. Number three, I'm going to show you how to turn on Chart Trader and setting up your ATM strategy. Number four, where to access your drawing tools and how to set shortcuts for them. Number five, setting up your EMA indicators. And finally, number six, I'm going to show you how to take a trade on Ninjatrader. All right, let's dive in, creating a new chart and choosing your instrument. So open up your Ninjatrader and look for the control panel, which is this panel that you're seeing here. And what you want to do is go to New, and then go to Chart right here. Go ahead and click on that. And then you should be greeted with this screen right here. Then under the instrument, what you want to do is just go ahead and click the drop down menu. All of the instruments that you see up here are your most used instrument, and it's just pinned. If it's your first time starting up Ninjatrader, then you're not going to have these. You're not going to see these. What you want to do is just scroll down to futures and scroll over to the market that you want to trade in. In this case, we focus on trading the NQ. So we're going to go and choose NQ right here. So this is the mini contracts. If you are trading micro contracts, then you want to scroll down to micros over here. And then you want to choose MNQ, which is the micro version of the NQ. Okay. MNQ is basically the NASDAQ just for micro contracts. All right, so in this case, I'm going to show you how to set up the MNQ chart right here. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And you're going to see this come up. You can leave everything at default, okay? For the days to load, you want this to be 28 days, okay? And that's pretty much it. Leave everything else the same. It's very, very easy. We can adjust all of the preferences afterwards once we get a new chart loaded. Go ahead and click OK. Here we are. This is the new chart. All right, now that you have a new chart open, there's a couple things that we need to do to improve the quality of life here. Okay. First thing that we want to do is we want to go all the way to the top here, and we want to choose the time frame that we plan to trade in. For example, you can do a 3-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, a 15-minute chart. You just go to the drop-down menu and click on these. So it's very quick for you to configure the chart. Okay, for us, we just focus on trading the 5-minute charts. So just go ahead and click on that. It will jump to the 5 minutes. All right. The second thing is you want to access the chart properties. There's two ways to do it. The first way is up here. Just go ahead and click this button. The properties window will show up just like that. The second way is you can just right click anywhere on the chart and click properties, and you will get the same window popping up. In this window here, this is where you basically modified or customize the visuals of your chart. For example, if you prefer a dark mode, this is where you would basically change the chart background. So just go ahead and click on this. Let me show you dim gray as an example here. We're going to go apply, and it changes the background. Now, when you change it to a dark mode, just make sure that you also change the text to a lighter color so that it is easier to read. Just like that. Okay. Me personally, though, I prefer the black text and white background. That's my preference. We're going to go and apply. So we're back to where we were. The second thing that we need to do on this window here is we need to turn on the grid lines, and we can visually estimate what the trades are and predict where our targets is going to be. Again, it's just quality of life tweaks that we want to do here. You're going to click on the grid line horizontal here, and you're going to go visible. Okay, make sure you have this check mark on, and you're going to go to grid line vertical, and you're also going to go visible. And that's pretty much it. You can pretty much leave everything else at default. And we will apply. As you can see, now the grid lines are on our chart. You're going to click OK. We're going to get out of that. The next thing that we want to do is we want to lock in on this vertical column over here so that when we start zooming in the chart, we know that every time that we zoom in, it does not change, which means every single one of these squares is going to be 10 points. So visually, we can see that this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, we can roughly estimate that this is roughly a 70-point movement. Okay, again, it's just quality of life tweaks. To do that, you need to go ahead and right click on this column over here, go to properties, and then we're just going to go to horizontal grid lines here. Okay, by default, it's going to be automatic. You want to click on fix. Okay, keep it at fix, and then by default, this is going to be 1 point. So you want to punch in 10 points here, right? So I already have it set up on the preset here, and you're just going to go to apply and click OK. So now what happened is that if you move your chart, as you can see here, it's always going to be 10 points for every box, every square. So it just makes it very easy for us to gauge how big of a movement on the chart is. Okay. All right. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to edit the data series and the markers and placements. We're going to right click and we're going to go to data series. It's going to bring up our previous window. When we first start out our chart, you're going to scroll all the way down here and you're going to go to plot executions. And then right now it has text and markers. So what this does is that every time you take a trade, it's going to tell you the text and the markers where the trade is being taken. But the problem with that is that it's going to clutter up your screen very quickly. So what we want to do is just click on the drop down menu and we just want to click on markers only. This keeps your chart clean so that it's easy for you to see. You're going to click apply and click OK. Okay, so that is essentially some of the basic preferences and settings that you can do to your chart. We keep everything super simple, super clean so that it's easy for us to read and look for entries. All right, now that we got some preferences set up, what we want to do now is turn on the chart trader function and set up our ATM strategy. So to do that, it's very simple. Just go to the very top menu here, look for the chart trader icon, which is this one here. Just go ahead and click on that, and then you want to click on chart trader. By default, it is off. Okay, so we go ahead and click on chart trader, and you're going to see this pop up. Okay, this is the main control panel that we're going to use to place a trade. Okay, there's a buy market, buy ask, sell ask, and then buy bid and sell bid. Okay, the two function that we're going to use most on this chart, three function that we're going to use most on this chart is the buy market, and sell market, and the close. Okay, so when you click on buy market, it's just going to be getting into a position instantly wherever the market is at. Same goes for the sell. All right, very straightforward, very easy to use. I would recommend doing a couple of trades just using the control panel so that you're familiar with how these functions work. All right, next is the ATM strategy. What the ATM strategy does is that it allows us to basically enter a trade and it will give us an automated target and an automated stop loss that we set up. So let me show you how that works. So I've got a couple of ATM strategies set up already, as you can see over here. So we're just going to pick one of them so I can demonstrate visually how this works. We're going to pick a 3 contract right over here. And we're just going to go and sell. Okay, we're going to place a sell order right here. Just go ahead and click on that. And there it is. So what the ATM strategy does is that it allows us to basically place the position exactly where the market is at. And it's going to give us the first target and the second target. This is already preset inside the strategy. And it's also going to give us a stop loss. The point for the stop loss is also preset in the strategy. It's just a very quick execution this way. Once you have the targets on here, you can essentially click on it and you can move it around anywhere you like. You can make adjustments anywhere you like. This is the reason why the chart trader function is so robust for the type of tradings that we do. All right, let's go over the settings of the ATM strategy and how we set them up. To set up the ATM strategy, you want to go and click on the drop-down menu over here, and then go ahead and click on custom. You're going to see a small window that pop up just like this. The first thing that we want to do here is determine how many contracts we want to trade. That's in the order quantity. So assuming that we want to trade 3 contracts, let's just make it 2 contracts so it is easier. 2 contracts. And then we want to keep the parameter type as ticks. That's the default, which means when we punch in the number of points that we want to gain, we need to convert the points to ticks. So essentially 1 point equals 4 ticks. So we need to do a quick calculation to figure out, for example, if you want 10 points, how many ticks is that? 10 points multiplied by 4 equals 40 ticks. So we would punch in 40 ticks. That's essentially how that works. Okay. The next setting that we want to do is we want to figure out how many targets we want. So as I showed you earlier, you get in, there's 1 target, 2 targets. You can have basically as many targets as you want as long as there's enough contract to support it. What we recommend is start with 2 targets. So just go ahead and click here on the add and add a second target. Okay, so now it's going to go target number 1 and target number 2. Target number 1, we want 1 contract. Target number 2, we want another contract for a total of 2 contracts. Just make sure that these numbers will check out. Okay, the stop loss, you want to determine a stop loss that you want to have. So keep in mind that you can make adjustments to the targets and the stop loss anytime you want, as long as you're not stopped out and you're still in the trade. So what we want to do here is we want to put a 20-point stop loss. Okay, we just want, that's like an arbitrary number, sort of like a sweet spot that we want to have. Then we can adjust the stop loss as the trade goes on. So 20-point stop loss, you take 20 times 4. So that's essentially 80 ticks. So what you want to do here is you want to punch in 80. 80 ticks. Okay, for both of them. All right. The first target, we're going to aim for 10 points. So 10 multiplied by 4 is going to be 40. So this is going to be 40 ticks. Right. So for the first target, when the market hits our first target, we essentially earn 10 points. Okay. And then the second target, we want to add another 10 points. So for a total of 20 points on the second target. So we're going to go ahead and punch in 80. Okay, so that's an additional 10 points. And that's essentially our ATM strategy. Okay, now what we want to do is we're going to go save as template. Don't click OK, because the OK is just going to be setting up this strategy for the one time. You want to go save as template. Okay, so as you can see, like how I've saved my templates, my ATM strategies, right? The naming convention is important because it allows us to basically quickly determine what exactly that strategy does. So what I usually do is I name it, the instrument that I'm trading in, an underscore, how many contracts I'm trading. So in this case, I'm trading 2 contracts. So I can go 2CT, right? Very easy. And then you're going to go underscore, and then I want to display how many targets I'm doing, right? So if I'm doing 2 targets, then it's going to be 1 here, okay? And then we're going to go dash 1. That means is that target number 1 is going to be 1 contract. Target number 2 is going to be another contract. If I'm doing, let's say, target number 1, 2 contract, then I would go 2 to 1, right? So this is basically the ratio of the number of contracts you're doing. So when I quickly glance at the ATM strategy while trading, I know exactly what the strategy is. So if I'm doing a 1-to-1, then I know that I have 2 targets. Each target is going to be 1 contract. So I hope the naming convention here makes sense and you guys pick it up. The next thing that we want to do is we want to kind of label it in terms of like what kind of style of trading is this suited for. For example, are we doing scalping? Are we doing swing trading, right? So you want to just identify that. So in this case, we focus on scalp. So we're going to put in scalp because it's only 10 and 20 points, right? And we're just going to go ahead and click save. Just like that. Okay. Then now we go click OK. Now, before we take a trade, we want to click on the drop-down menu and we want to pick the ATM strategy that we've just created. Just go ahead and click on that. So now, every time that we enter, it's going to be 2 targets. Each target's going to be, the first target's going to be 10 points. The second target's going to be 20 points and the stop loss is going to be 20 points. So I'm going to demonstrate that right now. We're just going to go in for a sell market. Just like that. As you can see, here's the stop loss at 20 points, right? Here's the first target at 10 points. Here's the second target at 20 points. So you can essentially move this anywhere you like during the trade as long as you're not stopped out. You want to close up your stop loss a little bit here. I am recording this at basically 10 p.m. So there's not a lot of volume in the market right now. So you're not going to see this move a whole lot. But essentially, that's how the ATM strategies work, okay? So you can just use the buy market and the sell market and it will automatically enter these entries as long as you have an ATM strategy set up. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to close it just like that. So at the end of every session, make sure you click the close button. You want to close out all your positions. You do not want to leave any open positions overnight where you're not looking at it. Okay, unless you are intentionally doing overnight trading, of course. All right, the next thing is the drawing tools and how to set up our shortcut keys. Very simple, guys. You can locate all your drawing tools by clicking on this pencil at the top menu over here, and it's going to show up with all of your drawing tools. Now, all of the drawing tools will have a default shortcut key. As you can see right here, it's default to these. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to remap our shortcut keys to what we are familiar with or what you are familiar with, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Very simple. Go back to your control panel. So here's your control panel, and click on Tools. You're going to see a drop-down menu, and you're going to go and click on Hotkeys. And you're going to see this little window pop up. Then what we want to do here is we want to scroll all the way down to the drawing section right here. Okay, so we want to focus in on creating hotkeys for our most used tools. Okay, so for example, we use horizontal line a lot. So what I do is I just go ahead and click on this. Okay, and I'm going to go Control 1. Right, so that's going to be for the horizontal line, and my line is going to be Control 2, for example. Right, so what I do is I just use the numbers at the top of my keyboards. That's what I'm used to. So essentially, I just go Control 1, Control 2, Control 3, Control 4, all the way to 9 for the 9 tools. But I have about like 5 or 6 tools that I use most often. Right, it's usually the horizontal line, the line tool, the ruler, the Fibonacci's, extensions, and Fibonacci retracement tool that I'm using, and then the rectangle box. Okay, very, very simple. That's all. That's pretty much all the tools that I use. Okay, I don't do anything fancy with my drawings. Okay, so the tactics that we applied inside the accelerator program is very simple. All right, once you're all done with setting up your shortcut keys, all you need to do is just go ahead and click Apply, and then click OK. And we're gonna go and minimize this. Right, so right now, if I go to Control 1, I should be able to draw a line. There's my horizontal line. Right, very, very simple. So Control 1, you see the little pencil that appears. That means you're in drawing mode, and you can draw another line. So it's very simple. If you want to delete anything, just go ahead and click on the object on the chart, and then just hit the delete button, and then it's gone. Very straightforward. The last thing that we need to add to our chart is the EMA indicator. To add the EMA indicators is very simple, guys. Just go ahead and click on the indicator icon located at the top menu over here. Go ahead and click on that. You're going to see a small window pop up just like this. And what you want to do is just scroll down to EMA right here. Okay, then you're going to go ahead and click on Add. Just like that. And then now you can configure the EMA. So the first EMA is going to be at an 8 period. It's going to be period 8. And you're going to scroll all the way down. And you're going to change the color. Just click on the little arrow over here so that you can edit the color. And you're going to change the color to blue. Okay, so the way I have it is just 2 lines, blue and red. The blue is indicative of the long. Okay. So you can change this color to any color that you want. It does not have to be blue, but for me, I prefer blue and red. So this is the first EMA is going to be blue. We're going to go Apply. There it is. Now we're going to do it again. We're going to add our second EMA. We're going to go Add. And this is going to show up. We're going to change the period to 34. Okay, for the type of trading that we do, this is the best settings that we have. So we're going to scroll down, and once again, we're going to change the colors to red. Just like that. We're going to go Apply. There's our EMA. And then once you're all done, you're just going to click OK. So essentially, how this works is every time there's an EMA crossing, which means we are switching directions. So as you can see over here, we are on the sell side, sell side, sell side, and then we have a period where it's going to flip over and the EMA crossing, and we are back onto the buy side. And as you can see, it's going up, right? So every time there's a crossing, you want to pay attention to which line is at the top. Okay, so it's either the blue line or the red line. Blue means we are in bullish direction. If it's red, we are in bearish direction. Very, very simple to use, guys. And that's pretty much it. All right, it's time to take our trade with our ATM strategy. So I'm just going to show you all of the functions that we use on a regular day-to-day basis so that you can see how it all works in action. So as you can see here, I have the OT indicator up. So we are looking and going into the bearish side right here as M1 is in the negative. Okay. And our overall predicament is in the negative. On top of that, we are at an EMA crossing, which means I know that this eventually is going to be shooting downwards. So we're going to be going in for a sell. Okay. So we have our ATM strategy set up right here. We're going to choose it. And then we're just going to go ahead and click sell. Just like that. Okay, so now we are in the market. Now we just wait to basically for the market to hit our first target and the second target. Now here's what's important to note is that while this trade is in action, we can move the stop loss anywhere we want. We can adjust the stop loss, right? So we can move it over here. We can close up the stop loss. We can even move the stop loss all the way to here. Okay. So assuming that we will be hitting the first target, what's going to happen is that we can move the stop loss at break even, just above break even to clear that first target. What that means is that even once we hit the first target, even if we get stopped out afterwards, we will still keep the profit for the first target. We just don't keep the money for the second target. Okay, so the key thing here is we want this to hit the first target and then move the stop loss above the break even, or in this case below the entry line, because we are going for the sell, right? As soon as we do that, we will basically clear the target. So depending on your trading strategy, you can set it up so that you can scalp the first target and it will always be in profit most of the time. And then just let the last one ride for the massive big runs, right? So currently right now it is about 10:42 p.m. at the time of me recording this video. So the volume is going to be very, very little. As you can see, the market is not moving a whole lot. But eventually, this will be shooting downwards probably to around this level right here. So as you can see, we are kind of up 0.75. The other thing that you want to focus on or learn how to do is you can adjust your chart just by moving the axis here, the x-axis and the y-axis, right? So as soon as you move the y-axis, you're going to notice this F pop up, right? Fixed scale, and you're just going to click on that and it will just recenter where you're at. Okay, you can also switch the view from points to money by clicking on this box over here, this black box over here. So right now we're on monetary value, so you can actually see how much money it is based on the number of points, or you can just prefer to see the points, right? So for me personally, I prefer to see how many points I'm gaining or how many points I'm losing versus the monetary value. Okay, so that's essentially the sell function, the sell market function. The buy market function is the same thing, just going to the opposite direction. Okay, so I'm not going to demonstrate that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this trade and I'm going to show you a limit order. So we'll go ahead and we're going to close up with $1.25 points. So that, 1.25 points. That's essentially like $5. So we are on the micro contracts, guys, the MNQ. So the scaling here is going to be small. The winning here is going to be small versus the NQ. We're going to go ahead and close at $6 in profit. Close that. So I'm going to show you how to do a limit order. The limit order works the same way for the buy and the sell. So all you need to do is just go ahead and pick a level that you want to get in. So for example, let's say I assume that this is going to go up here before it's going to head down. So we're going to zoom this in a little bit so that you can see the bars just like that. So let's assume that I want to get in like around at the 582.50 right here. Okay, because I am predicting that this is going to go up before it's going to go down. I'm going to open this up a little bit. We're going to right click. There it is. And we're going to go sell limit 2, right, at the 582.50 right here. We're going to go ahead and click that. So what this does is that's going to place a sell limit order. So it's going to sit there and wait. When the market touches this line here, our sell limit order, then we will be in the market. Like right now, we're not in the market. So before it touches, you can actually move it anywhere you like at this point, right? So I'm just going to move it a little bit closer so that you guys can see. Let's see if we actually get into the market. Let's move this down a little bit. Right here. There it is. Right. So now we are in the market. So same way as before. First target is 10 points. Second target is going to be 20 points. And our stop loss is at 20 points. Once we're in, we want to close up our stop loss about there. Right. Or we can even close our stop loss to about there. As you can see, it bounced off of our a little entry there, and now we are $2 in profit, which is essentially 2.25 of a point. Right, so just kind of demonstrate to you guys how that works in taking a live trade. Right, these are the essential functions that we use on a day-to-day basis. So if you are scalping and you're learning my strategy and you're learning the strategies in the course, this is the easiest setup that you can do. Here's an example entry that I've just recently taken based on the EMA crossing. As you can see, the blue line is just crossed over and it is on top, which means we are going into a bullish direction. And we also have a confirmation of the OT indicator here in the positive directions. So we are looking to some upward movements right here. Of course, we are off trading hours, so we're probably going to see a little bit of consolidation here as it slowly climbs itself up to this level up here. All right. That's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more trading tutorial videos like this one. You can also find all of my resources and tools that I personally use in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.